Sometimes I just run with the first draft and go, it's because it's an idea that I want to follow on later. I need to go and it brings out that I want to eventually marry that up. The first time I
Have you tried going to small banks? See if they have property and stuff like that.
I kept like, I started when they started. I tried to like take up like something straight off to the side, tried to read it, it was scary. So that's why I made one video on one. Yes, but you know what? That also works with engagement. Especially if you have different angles. They have attention from the person.
Okay, part of it is.
This is the dynamic.
Now 30 seconds.
He helped himself out.
Because you got 45.
Property line.
Yes, man. You got me. Don't see it. You go on for. Appreciate it. You don't want to partner up on the 15-second comment. Yeah, it's too long. We want to say everything. No.
You just set it up.
But I can only retain one if you barely love it.
I need to get one too. Okay. I got the information right here.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Give me a point.
You want me to speak on it? Okay. All right.
That on the website.
Thank you.
The templates don't actually have all the, this is what I got.
There you go. Okay, so why would that be the message? You know, when you're using a template, you don't have all the pieces. All you need is what you're doing with the template is you're copying everybody else's code. So how do you say that?
Down and dance.
Leave that alone.
How long have you been coming here?
I have a script.
I don't do scripts. Longer than boss?
When I'm ready, when it's
Yeah, I think I was working with social media person.
Okay.
I think I was trying to learn since I was like trying to follow this. I did my best.
Yeah,
You talk about things that you know it's like intimately. Talk about it in a way that you would normally talk about it if you're talking about it. And then you keep it brief. Because if you're having, if you're in a conversation, that's what you really are. That's what you're really
I was so comfortable going. But then what happens with the camera? Let me straighten out.
And then it takes hours. When I give you a script, it's like hours versus I'm glad you know about
People in
So that's fine.
Yes. Your dad talks.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at you, your video, and you're like this. Yeah, I'm like, but then I'm here, she's like, go to one side. So we're trying to match the video and the real. No, because they don't align. That's saying, it's yeah, and the
natural copyright. So sometimes I'll write stuff on my social media, and sometimes it's AI. I've always been on
then it gets now it's going to drive you to my business. As a customer, why should I care? I don't care about that. I don't care about the product.
If it's not resonating, you wouldn't.
It can think about what's important.
So I am smart.
And you can tell it, think, but
More times than not, it's jealousy of them. But they hear you. And they're like, oh, now you give me
I want to link in like this. Here's my gas, my can of gas. Or napalm, more like us.
Was that the Korean?
Yeah.
Suck it in the engine. Suck it. Yes. Suck it. You know what's up. What I'm saying, you read it. That water, my
read my entire book. And all he was upset about, it was upset about I left the word out. Not the There's no else.
We're going to push out something more. That's what I liked about it, because when I was working, I got to get some networking in, so I think we're all let this thing
I know you were in a
Oh, yeah, what's that? Oh, because you're in like Herbal, right?
Nobody needs to Here we are, huh? I know, I was thinking about just saying, today we have to go to Blue Brian. You ready?
I didn't make sure it was since
We are going to start in about 4 minutes, so please scan the QR code if you could kindly.
Good.
This is how we take attendance, and this is how we become friends. So please scan and
Getting there.
we have so many events.
Okay. You have an email.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think because I sent you something before.
Yes. It's a no reputation.
Yeah.
And I should have business cards made.
This is a generic one. Okay, so.
I didn't mess with it.
You can.
I'm sorry,
Good to see you. One of the boss, how you doing? Make it. Yeah.
That's a good question.
I'm ready to take my notes. That's interesting. Oh, there we are.
Yeah. So, my wife and I are
I'll tell you what, we have a Facebook group. Put it out there. First is get the business. And put it out there. So if you go to a website, there's like a little red thing that says click here for deals and money or something like that. And you just go ahead and are you on Facebook?
I'm like theater, but now I'm
Well, you should get on the Facebook on the phone. That's probably where most of them are actually. This guy here behind me,
so
he's big on Facebook and whatnot. So,
Emmanuel Jason.
We just launched earlier this month.
yeah,
It's been 2 years.
this dude here, I'm actually piggybacking off of his private money videos.
Thank you.
Get that on your phone. A lot of he wants to do the real estate video.
With my
Okay. I mean, that's like taking pictures of the actual real estate show or what?
Thank you. We're going to get started in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's really good. We've got a lot of agents out there. Out there, and also if you're approaching flippers, just like for myself, I want to before and
Do you work with Carolyn Crowder?
Yeah, she actually just resigned though a few weeks, like a month ago.
You took her place?
No, I worked at, she was my boss. So I'm getting a new boss in a couple of
Screw that, you should move into her position. Screw that, you should move into her. You know the business.
I'm still very green. I just started there in January.
Do I need to open a can of whoop ass on someone to get you out?
Not yet, no. I'll reserve.
Let me know. That is messed up.
What they're doing.
I know.
I'm sorry, man. Is this going to be in the way if I stick this here? Are you okay with that? Glad you could make it.
That's a long way, so right now.
My favorite Alright, folks, 60 seconds. Last chance to scan that QR code.
Has everyone scanned the QR code?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. Excuse me. If you have not checked in, please scan now. This is your last chance. We need to know who's here so you can be our friends. So we don't blacklist you. Thanks.
Say that so.
Actually, how do I get on the blacklist?
You're already on it. You're already on the blacklist.
Looks like that TV just was
It went out?
You broke it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
It might just need a hard reset. It'll be alright.
Alright, I'm going to get started with the housekeeping. Hello and good morning, everybody. This is 1 Million Cups Columbia. We meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m. And here's a little bit about us. So the mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connections for all types of new, seasoned, and aspiring entrepreneurs around the throughout the United States. We have some key pillars. We give presentations, not pitches. We make authentic connections. We're not just here to network. We're radically and intentionally inclusive, and we are run for the community, by the community. And what I mean by that is these are your local businesses that help bring this program to you every week. So we are grateful to the USC Columbia Technology Incubator for housing us every Wednesday. And then the businesses below are the ones who bring you the free coffee that we give you, bring the marketing, do all of the gathering of the presenters. And there's a lot that goes behind all of this. And no, it is not a paid position. We just do it because we love this community and we care about the organization, and we get lousy t-shirts. Bob, would you like to model the lousy t-shirt? That's all we get. That's it, folks. That's it. If you also would like a lousy t-shirt, we've got extra jobs. We would love to have you be a part of this organization with us. Our local program, we've been here over 10 years. We've had weekly, we are held weekly on Wednesday mornings. We have had over 500 entrepreneurial presentations, and we also offer educational topics like finance, future frame, networking, and sometimes we'll have local resources in the room. We have one presenter with a 5 to 6 minute presentation, and we follow that with Q&A from the community. That's where the magic happens. We also do some Made It sessions where we have entrepreneurs who have made over $1 million come back and share their stories with us. Again, we are always free, we are open to the public, and we encourage you to bring friends next time. We really want to grow our community. I do have a call for presenters. If you are interested in sharing your entrepreneurial journey with us, this is the link that you can apply to, or you can come and talk to me directly. Remember, it is not a sales pitch. It is not an investor pitch. The goal is to have people understand what you do and some of the challenges you've had in building your business. We love brand new companies, anybody 0 to 5 years old. If you have an idea about a business you're thinking to start and you want to present it to us, we love that as well. All industries are welcome. We have 2 Facebook pages if you're on Facebook. We have one, which is the 1 Million Cups Columbia, which is kind of the national Facebook presence. And this is our little home family page. So if you're not a part of this, please scan and become a part of this one. This is where we like to really encourage a lot of our engagement. If you have any questions, if you have any resources you want to share, this is the platform which we would love to have that happen. Upcoming presenters, some announcements. So next week, we're going to have Miss Kayla Williams come in. She will be talking about her journey with having brain surgery and how it started her to begin her company, Twisted Consulting. We have canceled the July 2nd meetup, so please mark your calendars. Due to the 4th, we figured people aren't going to be paying much attention to us anyway, so peace out, y'all. Enjoy the holiday. July 9th, we're going to have Matt Beatty
JD, I thought it was Zaddy.
Yeah.
Baby. I was saying body.
Yeah.
You know him, he comes in.
So anyway, Kevin here. And he is our first Made It session of the summer. He is a local entrepreneur here, and he's had a lot of success in Columbia. He's going to be sharing that story with us. And July 16th is yours truly.
Oh, I know that person.
I know, she sucks. She's horrible.
We can all say wrong. Okay, no.
Oh, they love me. I'm going to be here, and I'm just telling you why this is an important community, why you need to be involved with it, and why you need to be here and bring people here every Wednesday. We are also, after that session, we're going to have a meeting where if you'd like to join us, become an organizer, we're going to tell you how you can go about doing that and help us plan for the next year. So that is our July 16th agenda. Do we have any newcomers? I don't know. Anybody brand first time? Just we won't stare at you too hard. But
Yeah, that's right. Well, we used to do that on the regular.
we did because we would take attendance.
Yeah.
Bob, can you still take attendance?
What this shit?
But if you want me to call you out,
Oh, okay. We'll get back to that. I'll throw that into the pitch. All right, that's that. And now, without further ado, I would like to present to you the lovely Miss Dana. And she is a former teacher turned program manager for the Boyd Innovation Center and the founder of Snapply Sites. So I'm going to flip it over to you, love. Let me get your presentation popping, and we're off to the races.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm excited now. I was very nervous, but I'm feeling better now. Yeah. So my name is Dana Watkins, and I am the founder of Snapply Sites. And today I'm going to talk to you about my entrepreneurial journey and where my entrepreneurial spirit comes from. So I'm going to start at the beginning of my story. In the late 80s, an airman from Columbia, South Carolina, and an airman from Columbus, Ohio, got stationed in Okinawa, Japan. And then 3 years later, they came back married with 2 kids, to everybody's surprise. So I am a military brat. I'm an Air Force brat. I wear that as a badge of honor. Growing up as a military kid has really taught me resilience. The community that you get, there's a lot of challenges with being a military child, but there's also a lot of good things that come from it too. Not afraid to try new things. I've always been a builder, putting myself in uncomfortable situations, and just having that resilience. So I really credit that to my entrepreneurial spirit. So I started early. I was just one of those kids that was always trying to figure out ways to make money. I was selling Kool-Aid in base housing with the pitcher on the side of the road. I was knocking on doors, asking people if I could rake their leaves. My dad had to save me a couple of times because I got some little over-ambitious with some of those yards that people said, yeah, come on in, $20, sure. Hours later, Dad had to show up and rescue me. And then I even had my own version of a babysitter's club that I did when I was younger. But I ended up, my journey is not linear, just like a lot of people here, and that's what I love about this community, is just hearing everybody's stories and where everybody came from. I went to school to be a teacher. So I was a middle school teacher in Arlington, Virginia for a year. Then I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and I was a high school teacher for 6 years out there. So I taught for 7 years. I taught at community college. I tutored. When I moved to Columbia in 2019, I was very burned out from teaching. The class sizes in Phoenix, Arizona were 40 kids. That was the max, and they always filled them to the max, and I just wanted to do something else, so I applied to a bunch of different jobs, and I got hired at Trevitt's Print and Mail, which is a family-owned print and mail shop out in on St. Andrews up in Irmo. They've been in business for 40 years, and they have a branding and web design side of their business. And so I didn't have any of those skills, but they interviewed me and they said, hey, I think you'd make a good account manager. So it was there that I got to work under a super talented designer. I started handling our customer support for our website. I started building out support ticket systems. Then I started handling project coordination. Then they started having me fix things on the websites when things were broken. Then they had me start building some small pages here and there. And then now I work full-time at the Boyd Innovation Center. and I'm the program manager. And we're a community that supports high-tech, high-growth startups in Columbia. That's so all that to say, those are my full-time jobs that I do during my 9 to 5. But during that time, I was always on the side building. Like, I'd get up early on the weekends or at lunch. I was just always trying different things. It wasn't, I just was looking for something that I wanted to build and to start a business. I tried to start a curriculum for students, for high school students, called Professional Prep, to help them get ready for the workforce, because I noticed a lot of gaps when I was teaching high school seniors. I almost bought a tutor doctor franchise, which would have been a horrible mistake. I started selling resources on Teachers Pay Teachers. That's a marketplace where teachers create resources and they sell to other teachers. There's actually been teachers who have become millionaires off of Teachers Pay Teachers. That wasn't me, but I started building resources, selling them on there. I started a blog. I started a newsletter. I created a course for customer success managers, for people who were learning about customer success management. And then my brother is a developer, and most recently we built an application where you could take pictures of those basketball scorecard, those green books at basketball games, where it extracted the data and it would put it into charts and graphs for the coaches to analyze their players' results and to help the basketball players track their trends. All of these things, though, failed. Some of them made a little bit of money, a lot of them cost a lot of money, but I learned something from each one of them. I just was constantly looking for that, what was it that I wanted to build? I had that entrepreneurial spirit. When I was working at Trevitt's Print Mail on the website design side of things, I started to notice a problem. Customers would call me because I was handling account management, so I was handling sales, and they would ask me, they would say, hey, I've got a new business and I need a website. And so we were a boutique agency. We had developers, we had really talented designers, and so our prices were really high. So they would call me and I would tell them their price and they'd be like, whoa, no, I cannot afford that. I'm a new business, I'm just getting started. What do you recommend? So I would say, try Upwork, try Fiverr. I'd try to point them in a different direction. And I started to think about this problem. Where do small businesses go to get affordable, good web design? There's over 33 million small businesses in the United States. And all of them need a digital presence. They all need a website. So I designed my first website. I went out, I found a client, the Blackwood Farmers Market, and I designed a website for them. And then I started designing more websites and more and more. And so I started Snaply Sites while I was working full time. So I would get up early in the mornings, and my husband, I was really grateful to have him. He'd help me with sales and prospecting. So he'd get up in the morning, he'd go on Facebook, we'd look for businesses across the country who had outdated websites. We'd send them a message and say, hey, do you want to talk? And he'd get on the phone, we'd work it out, and then I would build the websites. And that's how I created Snaply Sites. So Snaply Sites is a subscription-based web design business, and we help support small businesses as they grow. So instead of charging a really large amount up front, we just charge a monthly recurring fee in the beginning. So it's a lot of work on us up front, where we set up the websites, we design them, and then we support them ongoing with hosting and maintenance as changes come up. So far, I am still in Side Hustle City. I'm working full-time. I love my full-time job, especially because I get to work with entrepreneurs every day, and I'm just learning about all this new technology that I had no idea was out there. But I have been able to grow Snaply Sites. We're in over seven different states across the U.S. right now, and but the last couple, this year especially, it's just things have kind of slowed down. I'm still very much maintaining it, and I love what I do, but it's still something that I'm doing on the side. But it is a business. So this is me right now. I'm working full time at the Boyd Innovation Center, managing our programs, before work and at lunchtime and on weekends. I'm working on Snaply sites. And then I added this other image here because my husband has started building a SaaS platform at home. That's probably going to be our next venture that we're excited about. But yeah, that's my story. Thank
Yes.
you. That's exactly what we want to see when you present. Thank you. That was perfection. All right, we open the room to questions, comments, and everything else. Mr. Kim in the back.
I think this is great. I love what you're doing here. You say failure, I don't believe in failure. There's always learning something from it.
Yeah.
But if I could ask you, there are other subscription-based websites like, what is Squarespace, Wix, things like
Yeah, that's what I build on. I build exclusively in Squarespace. Yeah.
How are you setting yourself apart from, say, other subscription-based website designers?
I think just it's a personality thing too. When I meet with potential customers, I'm not feeling like I have to get this sale. I want to make sure that it works out for both of us. So I explain to them what my process and my expectations, and then I show them my work too, so they can see like, okay, if I like the style that she does. I want it to go both ways. So setting myself apart, I think it would be more of me trying to tell my story, it's a personality thing because we work kind of closely together. I also feel like I have a very clear process because of the experience that I've had with building some larger websites. So those are the things that I try to do to set myself apart. I also have the ongoing monthly updates that I do for people. And just again, with the experience of being exposed to all of these different, because I thought about niching down before. I've been told that I should niche down, but then I'm just not sure yet. I see what a lot of different businesses are doing, so I'm able to give some insight when people run into issues and say like, hey, things that are involving technology, like their own customer onboarding process, so just bring some of that insight, I think.
I think this is great. I think very much so. You're still an educator, right? Because you're dealing with people who are starting out with small sites and don't really understand a lot about how to design or how to get a client in. And so you're still kind of educating people as to how to best utilize the assets that they have to gain clients. But are you taking care of yourself on the back end of that? Because I know that when you start small, then there's that scope creep, right? Somebody will come and say, hey, I need an update today. I need an update this. I need to update the next day. And there's that constant back and forth. So how are you setting up the barriers for that?
Yeah, I definitely have some, like the people that I took on in the early days that are, that I wouldn't take, now that I have the experience, any new customers that I take on, I can very clearly like spot those kind of red flags. I guess they're not, those red flags. And so I'm having trouble with the current ones that I have that are just like these never ending cycles that I'm in, but the new ones that I take on, I am not getting myself into that. And it's just being very clear, like with expectations of like, here is what's included and here's what's not, and the education piece, I have to remind myself that to them, they just send their changes and they're like, you just make it happen, but they don't understand that when you change something on a web page, everything has to be very intentional. You can't just like slot this in there if we want the whole flow of the site to work. So trying to educate them on that part, that kind of helps. But yeah, scope creep is just something I'm constantly dealing with. But it gets easier, I guess. I don't know. No, okay.
But you're aware.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries. Taylor.
Kind of a related question. Well, first of all, let me say, like, I remember meeting you like 2 years ago. You were like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about doing this thing, and like, and I think you just might have started with the Blackwood Farmers Market, and like, just to see your growth is like amazing, and I'm so proud of you. And my related question to that is kind of where, I know you said towards the end that you're feeling kind of like plateaued. Like, are you looking to like grow this to be your full-time thing? And if so, like, I know you mentioned like your personality being like what sets you apart, and I find myself struggling with that too, because like I'm finding myself hiring people and like my sales aren't as great when I'm not the one selling books. So I just wanted to ask you kind of like, what direction do you see Snaply Sites going into? Like, did you want to grow this into a full-time, and like how do you kind of see yourself like managing that like scaling?
Yeah. So that flashback, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'd kind of forgotten, and that's why these kind of communities are so important. I was working full time, and I was trying to like get away to like little lunch and learns when I could, or morning coffee meetups, and FemX used to do these things called Lunchbox Lift. And I remember I'd been following it forever on Instagram, and finally that one day I was like, I'm just gonna go. And so I went to this lunch, I sat in this room, and all these women were there, and they were just talking about their businesses. It was the middle of the day, they all had their own businesses, and that's when I was just like, okay, this is me, I'm gonna start something. And I was in December, and then January is when I like really kicked it into gear and got the first client. As far as scaling, I do want to have my own business full time. Like working full time 9 to 5 and running a business is it's really hard, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to scale. Like, I've been able to slowly scale the business, but I'm also in this interesting place where I love my job right now. This has been I kind of stumbled into this job now that I'm in. I really do enjoy it. So I do want to scale it, work and do it full time. That is my goal. The goal is for financial freedom and flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my goal in life. Is I want financial freedom, and I want to be able to take time off and not have to go cap in hand, and I want to do what I want to be able to do to experience life. So that's the long-term goal, and that's, I think, why I've started businesses, and I see Snaply helping go towards that. But then I also see Snaply helping these small businesses along the way. I don't have a exit scale plan though, and that's why I'm here to
Well, then we got Sam, Lindsay, Deb, Thad, and Jeff. George. I'm so sorry. Jesus. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
Great presentation, and I'm super excited. I'm actually doing a project with Dana right now,
Yeah.
so I am very excited. Also, can you step over closer to that screen so I can take a picture?
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yes, but my question is, I know we do similar things, and you get this back end look at businesses. So you've looked at the backside of lots of businesses. So what trends are you seeing, or what things come up a lot that would be advice to the room?
Oh, that's a good one. I think I see that everybody's having a lot harder time than it looks like on the outside, is what I've noticed. I think a lot of people are I think processes and systems are a lot of times what kind of holds people up, as they're repeating and doing the same things over and over, but sometimes you have to just take a step back and get yourself organized. And there's this fine line between automation. We were kind of talking about automation. There's so many things that AI can do for you now, but there's a fine line between over automating systems. So I think trying to find that balance. So I think taking a step back. Some people are very much in their business, and I myself am in the business. It's so hard to be able to step back often. I think I see a lot of people struggling with that. Trends I would notice. I know I need to pay more attention, I think, to some trends that I'm seeing. I know the clients that I'm working with are in such different industries. I've got a home builder in Louisiana who's building these big home projects, and then I have the nonprofit Blythewood Farmers Market. So I think that would be a benefit of niching, is because then I could probably offer some more expertise if I was dealing with the same client, the same kind of problems, because I can't really easily answer that right now.
Hi.
Hey.
Fabulous presentation.
Thanks.
couple of questions. So you're open in 7 states. You have places in 7 states, or you're taking work from 7 states?
I have websites that so I have a recurring revenue model. So I'm hosting and maintaining websites in 7 different states. So I built websites.
Yes,
live
but
here.
I'm saying you're working here, but you're building them all.
Yeah, I'm building across the U.S.
So brings
Yes.
me to my next question. Do you have someone that's doing the building for you, or are you doing all of the building for everything?
I'm doing everything.
Okay. You need to be here when Matt Body comes.
Oh yeah, I need to meet him.
He's got some virtual assistant programs out that he's got now that I probably fabulous. I think he's going to be sharing that with the room. So that's really a point where, you know, you can't do it, especially how do you do it? You're working a job and you're going out there and you're now.
I'm not thriving.
Let me quick advice about the word niche.
Okay.
How old are you?
36.
I was 40 the first time I heard it. I'm 75 and I'm only just now embracing it. It's taken me that long to not want to do everything. And it's a woman's issue. We just can't help it. And it's not even shiny object syndrome, because women were born to multitask. We're supposed to be holding a baby and vacuuming the floor and cooking dinner and bringing up children and then still going to a job. Well, that's what we're bred to do, and we bring that into our businesses. And the thought of cutting it down to this little thing here is scary as hell.
Yeah.
But it's something that if you're going to scale, you need to look at, and you need to look at obviously outsourcing. So thank you. I really, really enjoyed your presentation today.
Thank you.
Bad Lawrence.
I'm not going to touch the niching thing because somebody else is going to chime in on that part. But I would offer you this. Start documenting your playbook now. By your playbook, I mean understanding the systems that you're putting in places for different styles of businesses, your outline, right? Because eventually you want that freedom. That means stepping out. And in order to step out, you have to have the systems and processes and things in place that you can hand off to someone and say, this is how we do it. And if you don't start developing it now, when you go to get ready to try to step out, somebody else will say, look, that's how they did it. And not that change isn't possible, but you need to know the why of the thing, right? The why you do the thing the way that you do it. When Taylor was talking about her sales, it's part of the process. She's got to hire someone and she's got to teach them how she sells to be able to sell like her.
Yeah.
And why it's important for that to be a part of that whole system. You're developing a system that has to be able to change hands. And so many people, when they're in their business, they don't think about that. They're working in their business, and you don't realize how much of the sauce is actually you. It's your personality. It's the way you address clients. It's the way that you look at the world. It's all of those things. And until you drop that down on paper somewhere and understand how those pieces of that Rubik's Cube all turn together, it's going to be really hard for somebody else to pick up the pieces and move forward. To hit on what Bob said earlier, which was competing with somebody else who is. I was looking for Bob, and Bob wasn't.
That ain't Bob.
Nobody else.
Subscription.
All of those subscription pieces, the Wix or those are just platforms, right?
Yeah.
The individual that goes in and knows how to navigate those things and how to make it functional, that's what you're selling implementation of a system, of a platform that anybody can access, but everybody ain't you. And that's your selling point. That's what you have to continue to put in your playbook and lay out so that when you do pass it off, it's Snapply is, known for what, right? Snapply is known to be this or that. It's not just Wix. It's not just
That's a good point, and that makes me think too that when I say that my personality is what sets me apart, I don't want Snapply to be tied to just me, because that's not a scalable business. So that's something that I need to figure out is what what's that value proper? Like I need to figure that out and clearly articulate it.
You say personality, but it's really the way you do things, right? It's really the implementation and the why of the thing. And personality is just like the thing that makes it go down smooth, right?
Yeah.
It's, I could say the same thing you're saying, they're not going to hear it the same way. I could say, listen, I can do X, Y, and Z for you, and they're going to hear, he's telling me what to do. I don't listen. So, but when you say it's going to be received differently, and so that in and of itself is the piece that you have to figure out. That's not personality, that's training, right? That's the approach, right? And that is what you can teach to somebody else. It'll never be you, right?
Yeah.
But you can get them close to how they're presenting those things.
Okay.
Great presentation. Love your energy.
Thank you.
I think since the first time you come in here, you kind of stood out because you just had this kind of, you have a presence, right?
Okay.
That it really embodies the entrepreneurial spirit. So I get why you try so many different things. Definitely a great presentation. My question is, or I guess suggestion more so is, I know you said you're using Squarespace, and your husband's looking into SaaS as an aspect of the business, or
it's completely separate. We had started this together where he was going to handle sales, but now he is like all in on his newest venture because he also has an entrepreneurial spirit. It's a custom coded HR software platform.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just gonna suggest taking a look at High Level.
I haven't heard of High Level. I've built in a lot of different I've used Wix, I've used WordPress, and I've seen Weebly, and I picked Squarespace because I really wanted to I've seen how tough it is when people try to build on all these different platforms and trying to unravel, like you take on what somebody else has built and try to unravel it when you're not the expert in it. So, but I'm always looking for new stuff. So is High Level
High Level
like
is kind of the gold standard now, where WordPress used to be. High Level is pretty much it now. So anybody who's kind of building a website or building a service or has a SaaS setup, most of it's built on High Level.
Okay.
So and they have a SaaS Academy, which is what I was going to recommend your husband kind of take a look at. I took a look at it because I've been in tech 25 years.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm always like to play around and look at new stuff. So I'll check out High Level.
It's really the gold standard that I gravitated towards. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. High Level.
Where do I start?
I
know we on the time limit. That's why I'm like, that talk took too long. So let me run real quick.
Okay.
Niche? No. I was in Dallas in 2007, 2008, 2009. Does anybody remember what happened then? When the economy went tank?
Yeah.
There's a jewelry corporation named Zales, had 5 different brands under their name. So Dallas had the niche market of jewelry advertising agencies, jewelry photographers, jewelry stylists, and then the crash happened. And not only did Zales cut back from 5 brands in the malls, because the malls started to die, they cut back to 2. So they got rid of 3 brands. But guess what else they got rid of? Jewelry ad agencies, jewelry photographers, jewelry stylists, jewelry website designers. The niche binds you to a certain category. And if that category does great, hey, it's all fine and dandy. But if it goes bad, it goes bad. And people look at that sample of work you've built and go, oh, you don't understand car companies because you get jewelry. But you may understand it. That's the beauty of, and I'm not talking about for everybody, but for us in the advertising and marketing sphere. People get to this tunnel vision. You want to know why car ads all look alike? Because they all use the same kind of people who are all niche. And you can't remember a car commercial. Be careful about niche. I'm just rolling. Personality. There's a small little company that is now, I think, what is Chick-fil-A? Number 2 or number 3?
Number 3.
Chick-fil-A, with only being open 6 days a week, has risen from like 50, 60 something place to number 3 on personality. We don't see it, but that's all Mr. Cat. The way they greet people, the way they're open, how they do, how clean their stores are, how they move, how consistent they are, it's all personality.
I think it more translates to core, his personality translated into core value.
Yes. The other part to it is, and everybody in the room needs to hear it because we're all entrepreneurs, stop hiring employees.
Yeah.
Hire true believers. What we are not doing is we have built a business that we believe in, and then we hand it off to somebody that we're paying part-time and expect them to be full-time like us. They will not do it. You got to find true believers. The reason your sales are so good is your husband is a true believer. If you don't get true believers at this stage, what you end up with is at 5 o'clock, I'm going home.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
4:59.
Happy hour.
They're taking out a 3. There ain't no 5 o'clock.
No, 4:45, 4:45.
They're never going to do the things you need them to do. So in looking at scaling and growing our businesses, we have got to get to the point of selling what we believe. Like that, and Bob, we're talking about that thing that makes you stand out. You got to own that, because what you've got to do is then the next person that goes to work for you has to do this. Real quick story. I've got a client. I went to work for Kramer Craftsville in Milwaukee. Paul Council, CEO of the company. Case Construction hired a new marketing director. Now, Case is bigger than the agency. The new guy comes in and he goes, and talking to Paul Council, the CEO of the agency, you don't understand. You work for me. And Paul looked at him and said, no, I don't work for you. I work with you. In front of all the employees. He says, but you don't understand. I'm the CEO of the agency. And I'm going to teach you that. And he got up and walked out the meeting. And here I am, a junior copywriter, going, well, what did we do? My boss is like, don't move. Paul walked down the hallway. About 5 minutes later, he comes back. He walks in. He sits down at the end of the table. And the phone on the conference room rings. And he turns to the guy at Case and he goes, it's for you. And it's the CEO of Case. And he gets ripped on the phone by his boss. He hangs the phone up and he turns to Paul and he goes, I'm sorry. I have been informed that we work together as a team. And I owe you and your people an apology. And Paul was my mentor. So afterwards he said, what I did is my title earns a level of respect. If I allow him to disrespect my employees in front of me, then they won't respect me. You can count on I believe all of us would kill for Paul. Because all the employees are like, oh man, you mess with Paul. Paul's our boy. Because he wouldn't let somebody bully him. What I'm saying is, we don't understand, we've got to build that kind of leadership. If you're going to lead and own it, lead that way. I'm sorry, but I'm done.
Thank you.
That's great.
Okay, Miss Adina, and then my dear in the middle, we'll go right over.
Hi, Dina. I will just agree with everyone else. You did wonderful.
Yes.
On a side note, I do use Go High Level.
Okay, cool.
It's nice because you can incorporate your website, your CRM, your landing pages, your lead gen,
Everything like
all of it, instead of
action it, so yeah.
So I just wanted to plant a thought as everyone's talking about niching down, depending on what generation you live in. It may not be a niche that you need. It may be an ideal client profile. Like, who do you like to work with? Right? Because it may not matter what industry it's in, right?
Yeah.
So just think about who are your clients, current or past, that you really loved to collaborate with.
Yeah.
And kind of hone in on those characteristics and pursue that, as opposed to a specific industry.
I like that.
Yeah.
Not thought of that before. Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Lynn.
Nice to meet you.
And I was in the same position that you were, and I want to say that fear was something that was stopping me from jumping. Okay, didn't have a parachute.
Yeah.
Then the parachute came along, jumped 2016, and my husband and I built over $1 million in these last years. And I would say that my fear factor was eliminated because I had a spouse that was fearless. In the context of all of that, I'm now again in the position that you are in, but I'm not fearless because I observed what it looks like to not be fearless and fearful. So the thing that I wanted to really bring home to you was the reason why I don't feel that right now is because I know, and I'm thinking that this might be your concern, is the financial factor of, you said you want freedom, right? So I've learned that there are people around who will help me get to my financial base, whatever I feel comfortable with, okay? And that is, it's still a little bit of fear for me because now I'm doing this by myself. But I don't feel as fearful because I feel like I have a lot of smart people in my room. So your husband and you are working together. I never thought that I would do that with anyone. That's a partnership, serious partnership. And I realized when I had that, it was an awesome thing. And so I want you to maybe think about you and your husband sitting down and having that conversation of my exit strategy from this really great job, because I had that too, you know, loved it. I was real estate for 25 years, loved it. But then I loved something else more. So it allowed me to let go of a really great job. And that was scary too, to walk away from real estate. Because so many people were, oh, Lynn, you're so good, you're so good, you're so good, you shouldn't leave. But I had a really great partnership. And so I made a choice and I jumped. That was my parachute. And didn't have to look back. And so that's the thing that I would ask you to walk away with is pick that exit strategy. You want the financial freedom? That's the key into the lock. Turn the lock, the door opens. And that's how I was able to do that. So, and I'm doing it again. So I just encourage you to, it's a great job, but you have a life to live. You and your husband, you have children as well?
No, not yet, no.
You want to? Okay.
You can't ask that.
Enough said on that one.
Personally,
yeah, and I'm also raised a military brat too, so you got a lot of gifts.
Yeah.
Step out so everybody can see.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You sure?
Nothing yet.
Everybody answered it for you?
Yeah, a lot of notes here.
Okay. Did you want to throw one more?
One more thing, I can't close without adding this about a niche. I'm not asking you to niche down to a client. That is that. I niched down my message, number one, what was life-changing. And number two, when I say pick a niche, in one of my companies, and I have multiple, my niche is women. I ain't ever gonna run out of them. I didn't pick women in business or women in I picked women, that's it. And in my marketing business, I niche down to my message, and the person who is attracted to that message will automatically become my best client. So it took me 75 years to learn it. He learned it sooner. I mean, if I knew him sooner, maybe I would have been smarter. But that is what I learned, and only recently, which is why I wanted to impart it today, because it's been big for me. Just making it that simple and that. Thanks. You were like all year. You get my gold star for like the best presentation we've had so far this year.
One more, and then we have our final question.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Great presentation. Basically, these guys, as usual, they stole my thunder. But I have a curious question. Snapping, what is a organ? I know you briefly touched on it, but how did you come up with that name? Just give us an overview.
I still have the sheet of paper where I like wrote down all these different names. I was thinking like I wanted a made up word, like something quick websites. And so I somehow got down the path of like websites and a snap, and Snaply just came from that. That's a fun question. And yeah, thank you.
I have our final question.
Oh yeah.
Which Lindsay's going to deliver to
All right, Dana, what can 1 million cups do for you?
Yes, So I would love introductions to established businesses with outdated sites.
Welcome to Columbia.
Yeah. So, and those who are open to refreshing their sites and know that their sites are outdated. And then also, please connect with me on LinkedIn. One of the things I've been trying to do this year is build my own personal brand on LinkedIn. I'm trying to find a balance of telling my story with what I'm doing at the Boyd Innovation Center and elevating that. But then I also want to talk more about my business too. And so please connect with me on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for this opportunity. The coaching really helped. So if you're going to present, I think that helps to run it by somebody first. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The others, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
Already.
When they come in. It's kind of like my marketing. I tend to drive the local properties that now it's co-starting. So when they come in, and I work with other. They may bring in When you go into real estate Not saying that because I just had this conversation
So it's like if you're all over the place, like,
tongue into that like and talk about all the stuff. So went back there, like successful with that.
No, I'm so
there for a while. The doctor said to me, like, I had as well. And then I stopped doing my so that's like keeping the kids to sell, making connections.
I've already been through the process
about like it not being because I'm like the
financially, prepare my business.
So the name of our company is we had a couple of
So you have a CRM, website.
I mean, it's like when we started this business, I sold them. I have to leave the bed. It's at a music venue. Yeah, because it was a great time. I met up with her. I was trying to in our business services. I'm all over. I was home for the day. This kind of weekend after that, just I've been at home and that's what that's why my next step I want like a mobile use. So I'm like trying to like save up my resources that or like maybe it started like finding last year that's how I was so I can go and like finding the brands and like support the like shopping shops and so icons and stuff. Kim is great, like she's also like a social worker, but also an avid reader. But I feel like she's still process separate while like the mission is really my mission. How we can most be able to so I didn't have that before I had it. So I'm better set up for higher study. And like I have 4 social work interns. So we started. Like really? I interviewed them. Sometimes I really have to learn about that. I was just like, I learned that by like first she was the founder of Cars.
job that pays well. And that's just like, okay, so like, almost like the niche question, like, and I love like her brand, like her brand foundation was like her like my Watkins presentation, I did not talk about my personal stories, but I talked about the issue of evangelism outcome. And that's kind of when I started to join the hood, that wasn't a niche that I was going down to, but I started to see like I guess so. I guess she is really about the question that I just but that's right. Yes. Oh yeah, she's great. She's a net player, and I just turned to her. Yeah, she just left, so my last month, so she got back in July. But yeah, she posted a lot of yeah, I posted around once
Yes, sir. All right. Good job.
So what else do you got going on today?
Actually, I have a call at 11.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what kind of like my niche is like. Okay, books, but I don't have like yeah, well, I agree. So like more marginalized or underrepresented.
Like the financial base of whatever I'm doing, like but I was like figure out according to our customers, yeah, so he was saying, that's why every week,
they have books that I recently I got it from the library, so like me, I'd rather just so we're going to share books those novels written for America about I just forget Ellen Howard is like the old man, but she actually came to South Carolina when I came to South Carolina. She was like letters from the line of credit, and they ran on payroll. Yes. So I was a teacher. Yesterday I spent 2 hours on the phone with them. They say they wanted to I'm not afraid of competition. Oh, no, that's not. Yeah. My kind of parachute out. It's not like, yeah, not here in South Carolina, but
I was definitely gonna be like, you guys, this is so fun.
right, yeah, and those kind of things, I love receptionists. She wrote about like Charles Vegas and sexual assault and like even like she has a book about trafficking. She was one of the ones that I found but like yes, like not just about how to build like are showing how they can it often starts like when you that like shows that their faces it's frustrating. It does what everyone wants. And buy stuff and see and I'm like, why are we like taking away the messages for kids to know the signs? Like we're making it easier.
I've been on the dark web.
So like, and that's why I learned like one of my books that I just read I write
and I'm fun. Storytelling in that way to like change something from a negative situation. So I'm trying there's customer service and there's a lot of marketing stuff there. Right.
Because that's kind of like he's going to words back here.
My soul is on the table. That's why I doubt. Listen, everybody. You guys are great.
As a 16-year-old,
yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, like, wait, but I don't know, all of this made me think of millions of things I want to do.
Well, I think it's like huge intentions. Yeah. Well, when I did my first presentation, I really told my story, but my second presentation, I was saying that like I was talking about Bigfoot. So for like 10 minutes, and I was like really like connecting it to how it really like I guess it showed the message of like aligning the issues that are happening in the world. Yeah. Not taking attention to it, but like, because I didn't, celebration is lit to talk about this. I wanted to talk about underrepresented voices. But that just happens to be the focus of a lot of books that are being banned, so it naturally aligned. And what really like blew me up was like I did a TikTok, like, you know, a recap of like songs that were banned in the States for working, and I just kept doing those. So like I would get like thousands of views on TikTok, hundreds of likes, and like I'm just like, oh, like this is what it's like setting me apart, like
and cats. And
I am aligned with my mission of the community, not just in
that's
but I feel like you're sharing like
want to check it out for sure. Toss your dog until I can put it on 4 months.
Yeah, that was both our first time. Yeah, I remember it was really pivotal for me because I had such a and I told her I just said to her because they saw it. Yeah. Yeah. And then we were watching the whole time. Yeah. We're like, I was like, do you know me? She's like, we were like, we can find it together. Talking about one of my cups, somebody's yeah.
Because there was something online.
Yeah. Well, Tara's done a good job with like really directing the energy. Because like my first time going on, like this was
how they gather information. Yeah, that's really important.
Like it was like really and that was my first time, and I saw them. And it's always been but since 1 year, since years like the organizers, like really been redirected. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's been especially yeah, and that's why it turned out especially
all that information. Exactly. We don't track any information.
But I'm glad you pushed that aside. Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about like eventually building an app, not for where she is lit, but for so like I'm trying to like brand right. I'm like essentially doing 2 businesses, and I don't have time for someone like brands and but I'm writing this book on like how to live a liberated life on social media. It's just about like self-empowerment to like it's so easy to feel like bogged down by like everything that's going on in this current climate, but like how can you just like still like think outside of like the boxes that like we trap ourselves in and like be our basic selves and like lead into vulnerability. I'm kind of thinking about that as being like my offering. So like part of the book that I'm writing, I have like affirmations at the end of each chapter. So I wanted to kind of like what is there's like an affirmation app that's like really popular. Yeah, so like doing something like that where it's like keeps you like daily reminders. Tools out there now where you can do something like that and have it uploaded. Okay. Whatever it is. Yes, my friends really like that. But I did like that. But I love being able to see what's presented. Yeah. It's my turn. Yeah. But you can, like, you want to whack it, they went there 15 minutes ago, and then just say what you want to do. And it's just, I mean, my brain is like, someone should have taught me everything before. Yeah. Because I'm really interested in like, exactly. But it was I have it out in a lot of ways. I only know the things that I learned. But that new stuff, I can repeat the things I learned. So I thought, anybody that has any idea that they want to be able to help people write everything for the right thing, definitely first thing you teach that way after. I don't know.
You can see the beauty of what you're saying.
And I think part of it too is like it's very individual and like I feel like I'm living one And like, because I'm an
I
entrepreneur, I have that flexibility, and like I'm doing things. I always want to talk to things that often leads me to thinking outside of like my tradition. Like when I quit my job to start a bookstore, my grandpa was like, "You quit your good government job to do what?" I'm like just thinking like people are, and a lot of that comes from like care and concern about like, oh, are you gonna be able to bills? Are you gonna like I want you to be okay. But like just being into like my core values, which is like different for people, and like how to like rethink about how we like have this rugged individualism and have to do everything ourselves, and like how can we need to again like we did before instead of figuring out like competition like oh like
embrace one mode or the other, and other women are
because they realize that they work on this right, that charge
loving ourselves so much that we just like pour out that love to like our communities and care about so like it's gonna be like a book, an app. I also do like I'm like dabbling in like collage art, and like I want to do like an acquisition deck, and then like obviously like
motion with those magnets constantly.
So like record every day. For people who want that low experience, like the app. Like my inspiration for the app was the Star astrology app. They send you like little reminders every day, and I'm just like 5 times out of the day, I'm just like I need to hear that message. So like real astrologists are like yes. It's just like right exactly. It's funny you said Taylor. That's like my Instagram. So yeah, just I don't know. I'm just trying to find different ways to like empower people, like my friends.
Every time I've done something like you, I'm like walked away with. I've never been to a poetry reading before, and like I know, like my husband was talking about this the other day. You're also Jim Higgins.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that.
I need to watch this season.
So I'm not no spoilers, but Jenny goes to a poetry class. And so Drew and I were talking about poetry, and we were like, I just never could get into it and understand it. But I was telling him, I was like, yeah, but that poetry class, they're not reading that. I was telling him like how I really enjoyed it. I couldn't articulate why, and like I don't think I could write poems, but it was. That's
why I wanted to more about blackout poetry too, because I was inspired from my book. So in the notebook, yeah, it's in the notebook. So basically, you take an existing form of text and like black out everything. You guys have a great one.
Because they got to the point where because the business has still been really
we're seeing the charge time like again, it's the same thing with the what was it, more cars that were